Hi guys, this is Bareerah, the super storyteller from Connecting the World platform, and welcome back to Connecting the World platform from page and YouTube channel. Today our guest is Inge Urbancic from Washington DC. Wow, that's really great. And she is an international educator, English language professor, and entrepreneur. Wow, same as me because I'm working as an entrepreneur too. So, okay, let's welcome our guest, Professor Inge. Okay. Hi, Miss. How are you?
Hello, Bareerah. Assalamu alaikum. I'm doing fine. Thank you. How are you?
I am fine. Thank you so much for coming into my show and thank you so much for your time. And you know that I'm really excited to talk to you and know about you more than because I'm really excited to jump up into my question because I have a lot of questions for you.
I'm so excited to be here and to finally speak with you. I know we've been trying for a while. So I too am so excited and grateful that you have me here on your show today.
Thank you so much. And as you know that Miss Inji, that I have introduced you, but I want to know more about you. Those our audience are new that don't know about you more. So I will ask a question that I ask to every guest, and that is, please explain who are you as a person, or how do you see yourself after many years as a person? So yes, Miss.
Thank you for that question. I'm going to start with my most important role in this entire world, because it's important for you to know this too. My most important role is that I'm a mother. Before all those other things that you're talking about, I am a mother. So, no matter what we're talking about today, it's important to realize I have two children. I have a daughter who
Mm-hmm.
is uh, almost 18, and I have a son who is 15. And
Mm-hmm.
everything that I have done in my life has revolved around me being there for them first. So for many years, I was at home with my children, raising them, and all of this. So everything that you see that I'm doing is very common in the life of a woman, right? So we
Mm.
are a mother, we have many different roles, and on top, we are a teacher, an entrepreneur, a friend, all these different things that we
Mm-hmm.
are, right? So anyway, so that's the most important role that I have. But other than that, in addition to that, yes, I am a professor of English. So I teach English to students from all around the world, all different countries, and specifically recently, very much in Pakistan. I've been very involved in Pakistan recently, which is why I'm so happy to be here with you today. Um, I also own a travel business.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something else that I do, which of course, during this time with COVID, it's a little bit quiet, but that's okay. It'll come back. And at the moment, I'm also a student. So I've gone back to
Oh.
school to get my doctorate degree, my PhD. So right now I'm juggling many different roles, and but this is who I am and how I love to have many things going on in my life. So little bit of introduction from me.
Wow, that is really great that you are doing so much things, and I'm really excited. And as a professor, that I really, it was always in my mind that I will really meet a real life professor because I always love to talk to professors. Yeah, and that is true.
Here we are. So it's our lucky day for both of us, isn't it? It's our lucky day.
Yes, it is our lucky day. Very, very. So, okay, the next question I'll be asking to you is about your own childhood. That how was your childhood journey, and what have you learned from your childhood? Because I'm really interested in much knowing about people's childhood. So, yes, Miss, tell us about your childhood and schooling back then.
Mhm. Well, thank you. Yes, back then, that's the key word, back then. Back then, we didn't have computers yet. But
Yes.
anyway, back then, I grew up in a relatively small family compared to other families. There were three. I have a sister and a brother, and my parents, so there were five of us all together. We grew up outside of Washington, D.C., and my father was also an educator. He has his PhD. And my mother was a full-time stay-at-home mom. So my mother was from Germany, and she stayed home and kind of took care of all of us. My family
Mhm.
was always very, very, very interested in education and making sure that they gave us whatever they could to get the best education. I did not grow up with a lot of money. I did not grow up in a big life of privilege. We grew up very much kind of working middle class, with my father being a teacher and my mother being at home. But we had so much love and support and family togetherness in my family that, um, you know, we didn't need all these other things. It didn't matter. So as we continued on, just in education, more and more opportunities and ideas started to open. And this is where I really started to explore even more of the world through studying abroad, studying in Thailand, studying in Belgium, studying, traveling. All of these different things started to come together, and all of them are little bits and pieces who have made me now who I am today.
Oh wow, that is really great, and thank you so much for sharing about your childhood journey when you were little to grown up. And it was really great to know to have such a loving and kind parents, as children really need the support of their parents and love and care. And so, okay, the next question is about your work, because as you know that you are a professor, and I really know I'm really curious about this question. Why did you choose to be an English language professor, not other subjects professor, just like math, science, and others? So tell us the basic thing, that why did you choose this professor, language professor, English? So yes.
That's a great question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that. I love that question. And the reason that I love that question is because the answer to me is so clear. The answer is not to have the whole world learn English. Obviously, that if the world is moving in that direction to learn English, yes, I want to be able to support and help people meet their dreams. But more importantly to me, rather than the English,
Mhm.
which I am teaching, is the fact that through teaching English, I'm able to unify and bring people together from all different parts of the world, all different cultures, all different backgrounds, all different socioeconomic status, all different religions. And every class that I have, I'm bringing them all together so that we can create a commonality. Our common focus is learning English. That's the one reason that we're all there. However, the impact is much, much greater than learning English, because we are able, in my classes, I'm able to create connections, cultural connections, have people interact with each other who may never have met each other otherwise. They might be completely have a stereotype about this culture or this religion or this, right? But once we're together and they get to meet each other as people, and this is something I really foster and try to develop in my classrooms, is this sense of community. All of a sudden, those differences start to break down, and those fears and stereotypes and maybe racism or whatever it might be starts to go away because they're developing friendships. So for this reason, this is the biggest reason why I have a passion to teach English as I do, because teaching English is the common connector to connect the world and connect cultures.
That is really great, and I really learned a lot from it. And you to gain everything, to gain knowledge, and by learning English, you can learn other languages by easy words, by communicating others to be easily and learn English. So, okay, the next question I'll be asking is the same question, and it is that how did you get the idea to be a professor? I mean, the English language professor. So I'm really curious, just like I'm really excited. So yes.
Well, as I said, I grew up in a teaching family, and not only my father was a teacher, but my aunts and cousins and uncles. So I had many teachers in my family. So already I was used to that. I was used to grading, helping to grade papers on the weekend, and kind of the teacher schedule. I was already kind of grew up used to that. However, I didn't start saying I wanted to be an English teacher. I actually started in the business world. I started in international business. I started, the more I was doing international business, I was learning about different cultures. So I incorporated Eastern philosophy. I ended up getting another degree in philosophy. And I worked in that for a long time while I was a mother. And in time, I started to realize that I was no longer, for me, I was no longer making the kind of impact that I wanted to make in the world. So in the business world, for me, I was not able to make this human connection that I really felt very passionate about. So I got my teaching degree and realized that one of the best ways that I could do this was teaching English. And as a matter of fact, when I got my teaching degree, my goal was to go move to Japan. My goal was to move to Japan and teach English in Japan. This was how, a long time ago, this was kind of, then for whatever reason that didn't happen, but I still had my degree. And so this is the common thread has been my love and passion of culture, language, international connections, and all of that. And so I've done it through business. I've done it through my own family, travel, my own upbringing, and now through teaching.
Yes, that is really great. But I assume that you have tell us that children do need studying thing to learn more better, but some students are just like their learning pattern is different from other students. That some like to communicate, to gain knowledge from other by reading books, and just like they feel bored in classrooms. They feel just bored in classrooms, and their learning pattern is different from other children, because the one of the children has their own learning pattern. Just like me, I feel bored in classrooms too. So my learning pattern is that I learn really fast by talking to other people. So, Miss, what do you want to say if the children's learning pattern is different, and how they can find out if their learning pattern is different?
I love your questions because I can tell how smart you are. You're very, very smart, and you're very intuitive. And the first part of understanding how to learn with these different patterns is to recognize what your own pattern is, which it sounds like you have, right? You have just said that you learn the best when you are actively engaged like this. You're,
Yes.
maybe not so much sitting at a desk reading and memorizing might not be your strength, but instead you are much more active. So the best thing to do, first of all, is understand that you are going to have one or two areas that you prefer over others. You're not going to like all of them, okay? And so that once you have identified your strengths, do everything you can in that way, as much as you can, because it comes naturally, you enjoy it, it works, right? However, you're going to be in the classroom and your teachers are not always going to teach that way, because they might have 10, 20, 30, 50 students, and each student has a different way of learning. So sometimes the way the teacher is teaching might be for the student who prefers to read quietly and memorize, right? So even though maybe for you don't like that, there could be other students in your class that do.
Yes.
So it's about figuring out for yourself what is your strength, what comes naturally to you, and having patience to know that your teachers are not always going to be teaching the way, to your own strength. Hopefully, I will say, with at least in the US, we have very much what we call student-centered learning, which means that as a teacher, I have my way of teaching. But if I find that my students are not reacting well to my way, I adjust it. And I look and I see what do they need, and I change for them. So I adapt all the time to meet what they need. So whether or not, this is something, so, every teacher is going to be different. But my advice to you is you have been able to identify your strength. So I would encourage all of your classmates to always search for that as well. Remember what that is. And as you keep going through high school, through the university, and through life, you'll know that about you. That stays. That doesn't go away. That's who you are, right? So recognizing that is, and accepting it and flourishing in it, is helping you become the strongest person you can be in a very kind of easy way, because it's coming naturally. Does that make sense to you, what I'm saying? A little bit? Right?
Yeah.
So just
a little, I can understand a little bit about.
So just make sure whatever you're strong at, okay, do that a lot, as much as you can.
Yes.
And the other things that maybe you don't like as much, you do still have to do. We all do. We all have to do things that we don't like so much, right? And those are also helping us learn about ourselves, information. So we need to be flexible in that way also. I hope that helped you a little bit.
Yeah, it really did. And thank you so much for sharing such a lovely information. And it is so lovely to know about it, to make this thing really helpful for students and others. Thank you so much for sharing. So, up to the next question I'll be asking, and it is about your important. It is just like you can feel it is the most important question that I ask to every single person, and that is, who was the special person that played a major role in your life, and how well that she or he did the major role they played in your life, if they are parents or adults. So yes.
You know, without a doubt, this is my mother. So, as I said in the beginning, as parents, we have such a big responsibility for our children. And I have learned how to be a mother from my own mother and from everything that she did her whole life to sacrifice for us. So she, to this day, all the way through, she's still gives to her children, to her grandchildren, whatever she can do. Family is the most important thing. So not only is she there giving and supporting all of us, she gives so much love, but she is a never-ending source of support. So whenever any of us feel down or we feel disappointed or something didn't happen or we feel like we're not good enough or we feel like we can't do it, she's always there to give us that push. Always, always. No matter, and this is, I think, the role in maybe for a lot of people, right? For if they're lucky enough to have parents or an aunt or a grandparent or somebody like that who was always by your side. So without a doubt, my mother, for sure. I'll have to make sure she
That
listens
is
to this. So that she
wow,
knows.
that is really great. And you know that every mother that played a major role in every child's life is the most important role that she plays. She supports you, she cook for you, she supports you everywhere, no matter what. She helps you with everything, no matter if you are stressed up, no matter where you are. She is always besides your side and will always support you till your life.
No matter how old you are. So just remember that too. Like once you get older and you get married, if you decide, whatever your future is, the thing is that it doesn't change, right? Like your mother is always still your mother. So very,
Yes.
very, very important role.
Yes, that's it. A really, really important role in the every child's life. So, okay, the next question I'll be asking because it is time to move on to the next question, and the next question is to you that so please tell me that everybody has grays, blues, and bright colors moment in their life. So please tell us which is the best bright color moment of your life and why. So yes, Miss, because I'm really excited to know about it.
This is a really hard question. One bright moment in my life there, you know what, I'm going to tell you, there has been, I have been very, very lucky in my life. I have a life full of gratitude. I'm very grateful for everyone who has been in my life to teach me lessons, whether they're good lessons or bad lessons, everyone is teaching me something, right? And I'm hoping I'm giving back. So when I'm looking at a bright spot, I have flashes of so many different things I could tell you. But I mean, again, just to go back to where I started, the most important one to me was becoming a mother when my daughter was born. And it changed, my whole life changed. That one is one that is constant, that changed my life completely. Many things changed my life, but this one is one that, if you're talking about a bright color, it's a very bright color. You know, beyond that, once you have that, there's so many, you know, I mean, there's personal success, there's accomplishments that we make in our life, right? Like if you get a really good test grade back, something that maybe it was so hard, but you studied so hard and you did great, that's a very colorful moment, isn't it? Or if you see someone, a friend who you hadn't seen in a long time, that's a colorful moment. Or if somehow you make a connection and what you're doing right now on these interviews, these are all colorful moments. So our lives are made up of so many colorful moments, and it doesn't matter if they're big or small. Most of the time, these colorful moments are quite small. They happen every day. And it's our job to see them and recognize them, even if they're little, and say, wow, like that was a great moment. And all those little moments add up to a very happy life. They don't have to be big, huge things. Little things every day that we notice. Right now, for me, this is a colorful moment, meeting you. This is a colorful moment for me that I will remember. So all of these things create a very happy and full life. So thank you for talking about colorful moments. That's a great question.
Thanks so much for your lovely, and it was I really learned from it. And thanks so much for sharing your best colorful moment in your life. And I really learned a lot from it. Okay, to the next question, and it will shall going to be a really interesting question. As that you have told us about traveling and other things that you have traveled. So I want to know where the places did you travel, because as it is my hobby to travel the countries and know them about more. So yeah, I'm really enjoyed to know about it. So yes.
I'm glad to hear that you like to travel because, travel is, in my opinion, one of the best ways that we can learn by actually truly experiencing it. And travel is something that not everyone is maybe lucky enough to do in terms of international travel or big travel. But travel doesn't have to be big. Travel can be experiencing a different part of your town. Travel can be trying a different food in Karachi. Travel can be many different things, right? So keep that in mind when I'm talking about travel. Right now, I'm talking about grand travel. I'm talking about big travel, not all those tiny littles. But
Yeah.
I as I mentioned, my mother is from, maybe I mentioned, my mother's from Germany. So I have traveled and spent much time in Europe. So that's already there. I lived and studied in Asia when I was at the university. So during that experience, I was able to go all through Thailand, Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong. I mean, I was able to see a lot of Asia. Through my work, international business, I was doing some work in Africa, in South Africa, South America. I've been to South America. I mean, really tried to be almost everywhere. I've been in the Middle East. I've spent quite a bit of time in the Emirates, Oman. I'm trying to get to Pakistan, hopefully this year. I work a lot with Saudi Arabia. So I have a very global perspective because I work a lot in Cuba too. How could I forget Cuba? But all of these places have specific cultures, ideas, religions, ways of living that are so inspiring to me. And this is why I really like to spend time in all of them, to really try to understand kind of as humanity who we are as humanity with all of these different ways of thinking, ways of thought, and ways of being. But this is grand. This is, again, grand travel, what I call grand travel. Small travel, I live right here in Washington, D.C., which is, again, a place where people come from all around the world. So it's important, too, just to be a tourist here and go downtown and look at the museums and see what's happening. So travel does not have to be enormous, right? It's just about going and discovering and learning something new and different is really your goal, to see something different from what you see every day.
Wow, that is really great. And thank you so much for sharing the information about you have traveled a lot of places in Asia, Africa, and Europe, a lot of places. And I'm really excited and I'm planning to visit UK, Canada, and everywhere in uh, America. So yeah, I'm planning. I think that's my future plans. So, if you want to get more information about Pakistan, because I'm hoping you are coming to Pakistan, so you can get the information from me or other Pakistanis.
I would love that. Thank you so much. I am so excited. I have, as I said, I've been working now for a couple of years with many, many people in Pakistan, and I am very, very excited for that opportunity. And I can't wait. Are you living in Karachi, did you say?
Yes, I'm living in Karachi. It is in Sindh. It is in Sindh Suba, Pakistan. Pakistan's. We can call it Suba because in English we can call it Suba too. I mean province.
In the province, right? In the Sindh province, yeah. So I am very hopeful. We just need a little bit of time with COVID, and I cannot wait to be there and meet all of you in person and just see all of you and look in your eyes and thank you for everything that you're doing to connect all of us together, because you're doing amazing things. I want you to realize what you're doing is very, very powerful, what you're doing. And I just am so excited for the day that I can be there and meet you in person, to thank you in person for all the difference you're making in the world. It's a big difference. You're doing a really, really amazing job.
Thank you so much, Miss. Thank you so much. So, okay, as you know that it is time to end the show, and I'm really excited to ask you, and that is what feedback or suggestion you want to give to me for myself, that as you are an interviewer and I'm a host. So, yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to first say I am so impressed by you. You are doing amazing. And I think that you are an inspiration to all students who are your age and younger than you already. They're looking up to you and aspiring to do what you're doing. They are looking at you as an example of what they can try to do. So first of all, I want you to remember that impact that you have just by doing this, right? And so my advice to you is don't stop. Don't give up. Keep doing what you're doing. You will continue to meet more people. You're going to continue to connect more people with every opportunity that you get. Take it. Take it. If people offer to help you in any way, you take it. You continue to go on your path, step by step by step, and you're already on your way. You're already on your way. You are a great example for girls in Pakistan. You're a great example to show that you can do whatever you put your mind to. So remember that special gift that you have, right? And continue to use that gift again and again and again. You are an amazing young woman. You're going to go very, very far. I'm honored to be here. Really, I'm honored to be here to meet you. I'm so impressed with you. Very much.
Thank you so much, Miss. Thank you so much for coming into my show, and thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much. It was really lovely talking to you, and I hope we'll meet again. I'm really excited to meet again with you in real life.
Same with me. I can't wait for that day. And I know that it's going to happen. I have no doubt it's going to happen. We're going to meet. So good luck to you as well. Thank you again so much for having me on your show.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for coming. We all love you. Miss Andy, thank you. Bye. Bye, everybody.